Hi, I've got more tools from Banggood. I guess they liked my first video, so they sent more. Let's open these boxes, see what's inside, and if it's any good. Alright, let's start with this one. So this is Router Plane by Jonathan Katz-Moses. I don't actually own a router plane, so this is the first one. So looks like it comes with a fence that you can attach to the side. I'm assuming something like that. And some other bits. I guess this is a marking knife. I've never actually used one of these, and I don't, like I said, I don't own one. I know that Jonathan Katz-Moses makes these because I've seen them online. Alright, let's have a look. So here it is. Comes with the manual. So this is the depth adjustment. So basically this allows you to move the blade up and down. There are lots of other router planes that look very similar to this. So this isn't anything new, but it's basically just a different take, I guess, on a tool that's been around for hundreds of years. I really like the overall look, and I like that the handles are at an angle. It seems like this would be more comfortable to hold it, though as I said, I've never actually used this, so I'm about to give it a go. There is a spring-loaded locking mechanism on the back, which basically stops the blade from moving up and down. Looks like you actually need one of these tools to remove this screw and take the blade out if you need to sharpen it, which I think some people might have an issue with because probably takes a bit more time to actually get it out, but I mean, it's just one screw, so it's not a big deal. I really like the overall look, and the colors, the brass element and the wood handles. So let's see how it actually works. Alright, I've got this piece of pine board, and I'm gonna clamp it down and see how sharp this is out of the box. I haven't done anything to it. I'm just gonna give it a go. And these clamps are from Banggood as well, and the links are under my first video. I'm going to use the marking knife that came with this tool. So I sharpen it a little bit, and I'm gonna give it another go. Now we're talking. Definitely much sharper. I didn't actually spend a lot of time sharpening it. I just wanted it to be a little better so I can actually show you how it works, but you can definitely make it sharper, and it will probably work even better. And obviously if I wanted to do this on the edge, I could use the fence to make sure that I don't move the router and I stay within the lines and make it nice and clean, but you've got the idea. I can see this being very helpful in my work, and I'll definitely use this at some point. I'm pretty happy with this, and I think it's got everything it needs. It looks nice, it's well built, and it works. So thumbs up. Alright, let's open another box. Oh, I know what this is. So this little thingy allows you to cut dowels out of square pieces of wood. This is super easy and it's super useful. I've used actually one of these before, and I'll show you how it works. So this one is a bit nicer than mine because it comes with these two clamps. So you can actually attach this to your bench or something else, and that makes it a bit easier. You just decide whichever size you need. Let's say we want 18. And it's got positive stops on every single one. You tighten the screw and that's it. You basically need a piece of wood that's more or less the same size as the dowel you want to make. You make one end pointy so you can stick it in the hole, and the other end, if it doesn't fit in the drill, you need to shave off a little bit so it does fit. You stick it in the drill. And now we can just stick it in a smaller hole, and this way we'll make it completely round. Let's see what's next. So it looks like this is a T-square. This is super straightforward, basically 4 little screws, and that's it. First impression, looks very nice and shiny. I like the colors. I think you've all seen the very popular brand that's similar colors, so I think this is kind of the trend these days, but I do like it. It doesn't feel light. The fit here is pretty nice and tight. I'm gonna check whether it's actually square. As you can see, this literally takes a minute to put it together, and the tool is provided. I'm just going to use my speed square to check whether this is square. Yep, there's no gap. As the same on the other side. It seems like it's actually square out of the box. There's lots of little holes for making marks, which is convenient, and this is in metric, so I'm not sure there's one available in imperial, but probably. Again, I mean, there's not much to it, is it? But it feels nice. Looks like it's aluminum or aluminium, depends where you're from. Don't know if you can see this, but the fit is nice and tight. There's no gaps. It's nicely machined and I like it. And I actually don't have one like this, so I'm very happy they sent one. And I think they've also saved some weight by cutting the middle bit off because you don't really need it. So yeah, thumbs up. Alright, got another box. Let's see what's inside. Interesting. It says on its surface clamp. So I guess this is just something that you can use when you have bench dogs. I don't remember what this is called, but basically this allows you to put it in a hole, and when you turn the screw, this expands and it locks itself in. Alright, let's see if this works. So I don't actually know if the bench dogs that I have in my bench are the right size, so it might not fit. It does fit. And then you just have a nice, well-machined clamp with pretty brass bits. And I like brass, so you know. Let's clamp the cute little brass hammer. There is a rubberized foot, so I guess it's not gonna scratch it. And you can clamp it. So because you can raise this up and down, and this bit, this allows for more flexibility. This feels very premium, and this is what it looks like. So this is the mechanism, and basically when you tighten the screw, this one slides past the other one, so it's actually thicker than when they're in this position, which is quite interesting. And again, nice rubberized foot. This looks like brass, this looks like steel, and all the knobs are textured and well machined, and this is just very pretty. What can I say? I like pretty things. With tools, as soon as you start using them, they get dirty and dusty, they get beat up and scratched, but I just like when they're new and pretty and shiny. As you can see, this works just fine, and it's just a variety of clamping options that you get. I've got these clamps that I reviewed in the previous videos. Just super convenient and super quick. It's got very nice weight to it, and it just feels like it's nicely made, and it's got the premium look and feel. So yeah, No issues with this whatsoever. I like it. This box is a bit bigger and it's quite heavy. I do have a pocket hole jig, a pretty fancy one. I had two pocket hole jigs that were pretty simple. So if you've ever seen a pocket hole jig, this probably looks familiar. I like the fact there is attachment for a vacuum hose, so you don't make a mess. This feels pretty nice. I had one like this before without the vacuum hose port, and that one actually felt a bit more flimsy than this one. This one feels pretty nice and solid. This is just a way to join two pieces of wood with the screws being hidden. So move this up and down, and there are actually measurements on this side that tell you when to stop based on the thickness of the wood. So if something is half an inch, you go all the way down and just tighten the screws. Let me find a piece of wood and I'll show you how this works. Before I actually use it, there is a nice manual with color pictures, so it actually explains what are the other bits, and it looks like it comes with support bars and locks, and looks like there's actually a drill bit, some screws and plugs. There's also a portable base. Alright, this is how you'll be using this for the most part, so not sure if I'll ever use these. So there's a drill bit and a screwdriver bit to actually put the screws in. This goes to 1 3/4 of an inch. I've got these two pieces of wood. These are 1.4 centimeters. What's 1.4 centimeters in inches?
1.4 centimeters is about 0.55 inches.
So pretty much the lowest setting, half an inch. So what do? You put the piece of wood in. You can adjust this based on the thickness of the wood to make sure you've got a nice and firm grip. You can put as many holes as you want, but I'm just gonna put a couple just to show you how it works. And I could connect my vacuum hose to this one. I could clamp this down or screw this down, whatever, but I'm just going to show you how this works. And this is super simple. If you want to, you can clamp these together to make it easier for you to put the screws in, but I'm just going to demonstrate how to do it, so if it's not perfectly aligned, that's okay. This is a super easy and super quick joint, and if you want to, you can also get these plugs, and they come in different colors, so you can actually put a little bit of glue, stick this in, and then you can just use a chisel or whatever, and then it's just nice and flat. You get the idea, right? So again, works nice. I really like the fact that it's got vacuum hose attachment, because this actually helps a lot to keep everything tidy. When you drill lots of pocket holes, it makes a lot of mess, so this is very useful. I've got this on my other jig, so looks like good build quality. It's not flimsy at all, and looks nice as well. Obviously, there are pocket hole jigs that have lots of features that this one doesn't have within this price range compared to similar jigs. I would say 8, 9 out of 10. And the last box. I've always actually wanted one of these. Seems like I finally got it. I don't think there's user manual. So this is router lift, and this is something that you would mount underneath your table. You cut a hole in the top of the table, and this way, when you put the router in, you can move it up and down and just make a router table out of any table. I don't think I'm actually going to put it in my bench, because I need to figure out where I want to use it, but I'm gonna stick my router in it and just kind of have a feel for how it works. But it feels very solid. It's very heavy. I can tell that this is not aluminum, this is steel, at least most of it. It's, yeah, it's very substantial, if it makes sense. And it looks very nicely made. I think this is a guide to cut the hole in the table so you can inlay this base in it. It's got double-sided tape. You can just stick this on the top of your table, use your router to cut out the middle, and then just stick this in. I imagine that this is the idea because there is no user manual. There's lots of bits in here. Even comes with a router bit, and this is the one you would use to actually cut out the hole. So this is very useful. The thing I like about this idea is that if you don't have space in your workshop for a router table, you can literally just put it in any bench or any table you have. When you lower the router or take the bit out, it's just a flat surface that you can work on, so it's not in the way. I just put a bit of tape around it just to make it work, but I'll have a look later on. Maybe there is some sort of a rubber adapter that you can put around it to make this nice and snug, but this will do the job for now. Might be that this just works with different models. So as you can imagine, if this is in your tabletop, you just stick this tool in here, and this allows you to move the router up and down and just use it the same way as you would your router table. And this is obviously powered by the power cord that powers your router, so this lift doesn't need any power supply. This comes with a bunch of adapters for different sizes of router bits, so you can actually close this and then nothing will fall in. You can probably figure out a way to make a fence for the router if you need to. There is this pin that you can use for safety, and when you're working on a piece of wood, you can press it against this pin and it will help you guide it. So it's got all the features that you would want from a router table, and again, it's a very nice build, very well machined, and it looks great, very hefty. And the lift mechanism itself, it feels very smooth. There is no wiggle on it at all. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm trying to move it to the side and there's like no movement whatsoever. So it's very well fitted. This is definitely 10 out of 10, and I'll probably find a way to actually put this in my workbench or somewhere where I can use it, because this is very handy. And when you think about it, you could even use this as a portable router table. You could use a router that's battery powered, and then you can have this in your truck or van or whatever and just do some work outside of your workshop. So this is a very versatile device, and for people who don't have much space, they can use it in their workshop, but also you can use it on the go. I like it. Actually, I really like it. And I've always wanted to have this, so this is definitely 10 out of 10. Alright, so what are my final thoughts? I really like these tools, and again, very good quality. I actually had some comments on my previous video from people saying that they bought some tools and they were not happy with them or whatever, but I can only speak to the tools that I have, and I'm very happy with the quality, and you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm not just making this up. This is really nice and solid. Very happy with the clamp. Super happy with the router lift, and this is definitely something that I will try to incorporate into my workshop setup. Pocket hole jig, great. Again, this isn't anything super complicated, but gets the job done, and I really like the fact that you can attach your vacuum hose because it really keeps your workspace tidy, and this is actually something that most of this type of jigs don't have in this price range and this type, so this is definitely a bonus. The only tool out of these that I actually had some issues with was this dowel cutter, because I don't know what it is, because I have a very similar one and that one works great, and it literally looks identical to this, just different color. Don't know whether the blade isn't particularly sharp. It just wasn't a great experience, if I'm honest. I really like the fact that it comes with those clamps that you can attach to whatever surface you're working on. And overall, nothing absolutely wrong with this, but I think it might be just the blade. And I don't know if this is just like a one-off problem, because I've got this one, and I believe I got this from BANGGOOD as well. And as you can see, it's pretty much identical. And this one works great. I've used it before, and yeah, it's just a really cool little tool that you can use for making dowels if you need a specific size and don't have it. Overall, this sort of tool is very useful. I've used it myself, and because it is inexpensive, I would definitely recommend getting this, because you know, it will save you a trip to a store if you ever need a dowel that's a specific size, and there are plenty to choose from. Like I said, it might be just an issue with this particular one, because this is pretty much identical and it works great. Overall, the idea and the usefulness of this, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some of the tools interesting or useful. And if you would like to buy any of these, I'll have links in the description, and BANGGOOD is running a sale right now, so you'll be able to get the best prices. I'll put a link to the first video that I made for BANGGOOD in the description, and there are links to things like this table saw fans and this little cute brass mallet, and other things like these clamps, so you can check those out as well. And thanks to BANGGOOD for sponsoring this video and sending all these tools, and see you in the next video.